Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with Canadian jazz bassist Robert Lee. We caught up with him in late April 2020 during the COVID-19 lockdown to talk about his debut 2020 CD, Ascension. His music is a hybrid of modern chamber music, jazz, and contemporary folk. He is a big name on the Toronto jazz scene, and he is going places. Get to know him.
You know, obviously it's a very strange time for everybody on the planet right now, so I think it's probably good that we talk a little bit about something that we can take our minds off of it.
Absolutely, yeah. It's like everyone, like a lot of new musicians, like a lot of my friends and myself included. It's a really, it's really difficult times right now. It's for every working musician. We're trying to keep busy, like practicing or doing like live streaming shows and things like that. But I think we're all kind of itching to kind of really get back out and perform and play with our friends and make music together. But but hopefully we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel.
That is what we need to hear, man. That's the positivity, and that's what I've been kind of thinking, the whole time we've been in this thing for, we're going on like 40 some odd days. We have to start seeing some light at the end of this tunnel. It's strange, but at any rate, you have your debut album, Ascension, that comes out during this very unique time. What does that mean to you to have this, kind of emblematic moment for your life and your music career happen during such a period of uncertainty?
Yeah, it's kind of like a funny thing. I can't remember if I was talking to you about this, but it's kind of surreal, and I guess in a way that I kind of wasn't, obviously, planning for amidst all this. I think maybe perhaps in normal circumstances, releasing their debut album is quite exciting, and obviously it still is. It's a big moment. I'm super proud of. I'm super proud of and happy with all my friends and musicians I've worked with, and everyone that helped with my producer and the recording people. But yeah, kind of like releasing it online. I guess it's different, but also not so different, because I think originally that was the plan, just kind of release it to the world. We obviously with technology nowadays, you can easily release music onto Spotify and things like that. But it's also kind of strange too, because I felt like it's like, oh, it'd be great to I was kind of plans to maybe obviously a week after I was actually supposed to have my album release show, and obviously that already got postponed because of the whole coronavirus. But it was still quite eventful, and I still felt really good. But I guess it would have been nice to, I guess what I'm saying is, it's been nice to kind of spend it with or share it with more people, in immediate proximity, as opposed to, just kind of online. But so yeah, it was definitely a different joy. But overall, stay positive. It's what, it's out there, and I'm glad people are listening to it. So yeah.
Well, I guess that's the double-edged sword of all this. A lot of musicians are still, life is going on. As you were releasing this, you record it and do all of that way before this happened, so there's no way to know. But I guess the silver lining is that people are home, people are indulging in the arts, so there's an opportunity that you may get an audience that you may not have gotten before that,
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the a really nice thing about having these platforms where you can release music is that it can reach a lot of people. I think especially now, I think you for a lot of us, we're kind of stuck at home and are just kind of always, at least I'm always looking for itching to find things to do or listen to, and especially if you're a musician or an artist, you're craving to kind of try to find new music, or I guess trying to practice or things like that. And also and so I think it could be maybe a nice thing where if a lot of people are staying at home and they have an opportunity to kind of try to come more music. I know I have with all this I guess free time, taking a lot of it, using a lot of it to practice, but also check out my friends' music, also more music that I haven't really had a chance to listen to, with my busy schedule. So yeah, I think it'd be really good.
Talk to me a little bit about the beginnings of your music journey, how you got into jazz, kind of where you were born and raised, that kind of thing?
I was born in London, Ontario, which is about 2 hours west of Toronto. Yeah, I was born there, and I grew up, and I guess I played violin as a child, but I wouldn't say I was very musically into it at the time. It was just kind of like something that I was doing, and then when I got to high school, I got really interested in electric bass, and just decided I played in a couple rock bands. I was really into like metal and like bands like the Red Hot Chili Peppers and Led Zeppelin and things like that. And then kind of closer to the end of high school, around when I was 17 or 18, I was thinking, I guess, like a lot of people at that age, trying to figure out what you want to do, if you want to go to college, university, and things like that. And I decided, I think then, that I wanted to take music a lot more seriously. And I found jazz was a really cool medium that could maybe potentially bridge between the whole like my whole childhood rock and funk and things like that, and learn this a new genre. And then the more I got into it and started listening to it, the more it really connected with me, and I decided to really engage in that. And then afterwards, I ended up doing music at a school called the University of Guelph. I got a degree there, and then afterwards, I really wanted to focus on jazz performance, and especially upright bass. I ended up switching from electric to upright, and I went to Humboldt College to do my performance degree there. And there was really incredible. A lot of amazing faculty, a lot of amazing friends and students and peers that really helped to develop my own musicianship.
Talk to me about the beginnings, how you kind of started playing and how all of that kind of happened for you.
Yeah, I guess when I was playing, playing electric bass and was trying to get more to jazz, I guess the easiest thing was kind of a lot of jazz fusion. So I was looking to a lot of Jaco Pastorius and like Weather Report and trying to get like that whole thing, and then inevitably I kind of found myself looking into like the classic jazz music like Miles Davis and Kind of Blue and Oscar Peterson's Night Train. I can't remember which one was the first album I bought. It was either Kind of Blue or Night Train. I can't remember, but either one was it was really the same music. And but obviously at the time I wasn't super knowledgeable in jazz, but I loved the music, and it only grew from there the more I kind of dove into it. So I was trying to play along to these records, and when I was at the University of Guelph, my teacher was trying to get me into more like different artists, and it kind of grew and evolved from there. Just try to play, jazz bass, and playing all that sort of thing, and you dive more into the music, and then what more I got into listening to the traditional stuff was I grew more attracted to the sound of the upright bass and just kind of the earthiness and bodiness of it. And so that's why I started transitioning to learning more upright bass. And then from there, I just really fell in love with it and started listening to a lot more of the traditional jazz basses like Paul Chambers and then also learning a lot of some more modern guys like Larry Grenadier and things like that. But it's kind of like slowly discovering more musicians and artists, and then that kind of helped inform myself on the music.
What do you hope both audience and the musicians realize about this music that we haven't been able to see live when we do actually come out of quarantine and go back into a live environment? What realizations do you hope we get?
There's something about live performance that's very obviously, and especially with this sort of music, there's a lot of improvisational elements and things like that you can try and capture as best you can in a recorded setting, but in a live setting, I think what tends to come out is just a lot of inspiration, and I think a lot of musicians can speak to if you're playing in front of an audience, you get an energy from the audience, and that helps to kind of inform your decision making in your performance. So I hope like with these, eventually if I get gain the chance to perform my music in front of an audience, I hope they can take in what they potentially they've already heard on recordings, but also something quite lively and quite inspiring and inspired, I should say, in our performance and in the music, and think that you can maybe not get quite so much in a record, in something that's recorded.
Well, hey, Robert, thank you very much for taking some time out during this pretty extraordinary time on the planet. Good luck with the debut album. I'm looking forward to spinning it on the show, and stay safe out there.
Great. Thank you so much. Really appreciate talking to you. Yeah, stay safe to you.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest players in Toronto, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. And thanks to Robert for his time, music, and stories. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino in the iTunes Store. Visit neonjazz at youtube.com. And for everything Neon Jazz all the time, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.